Oh, boomer moment right out of the gate. Damn it. I hit the dang button. Didn't unmute me. How's it going, everybody? Happy Saturday. Sunday morning in Australia for those that either stayed up all night or got up really, really early. It is fantastic to see everybody. I am glad you came by. Thanks for all the hype and the love on socials yesterday. Yeah, you got to have at least one boomer moment. I think that 3 is the minimum. I think we're going to get to 3 boomer moments, and Chad is eating that up. So listen, make sure you pop in the Complexity Discord. The mods will post it here. After I go through some of the Twitter questions, I'm going to switch over to the Complexity Discord in the CSGO channel and have some chat and field some questions there. So make sure you join the Complexity Discord. We're going to fire this thing off with a little video we made last week in case you missed it. And then we're going to bring on the man, the myth, the legend, Justin JKS Savage. Enjoy the video.
Trick or treat!
Hey, there you go. Who are you guys supposed to be?
My team noobs. What the
Hey, it's good to see you guys. Happy Halloween. You're just not the superhero I'm looking for. And who are you supposed to be?
You already know.
Yo, we are back, and we got JKS in. Sound check on you because I muted myself. How you doing, brother?
Hey, how's it going?
It's going. Yeah, I think we got you. I think we got you.
That's good.
It's good to see you. So JKS, Justin is a little jet lagged. So huge,
Just a little bit.
Huge applause and hat tip for coming on. We're not going to keep him super long, but we wanted to get to some of the questions while it's still fresh in everybody's mind. And he came from LA to Dallas. We did his headshots and filmed everything, and then he was in Dallas, like 8 hours at the headquarters, and then he flew straight to London. And then you guys know Blame F. He's like, when can we get to practice? So Justin has had a roller coaster of a week, and it's definitely, been pretty crazy. So thank you very much for coming on, brother. I do appreciate it.
It's all good.
So we're going to pop through some of these questions here, and I've got the YouTube, or sorry, the Twitch up, and we got lots and lots of questions. So I'm going to be scrolling through here, and make sure you guys check out the Complexity Discord that I just put up on the screen, because when I get through some of the Twitter questions, we're gonna hang out in there for a minute. I'm gonna read some questions for Justin and myself off the Complexity Discord, and the mods will post the link in the channel, or you can find it at the top right of our website. So we're gonna get back to some of these questions, and some of them are pretty funny. But Chris, let's see, Chris, 100 Thieves, Gomez CSGO said, we got to start with this one, man. He said, I could ask him in private, but to save the repeats, the question I'm sure everyone wants to know: what is Justin's 2020 UK Nando's order? He's been in the UK for 2 days now, so he should have had it about a half a dozen times. Everybody wants to know, what's your favorite order at Nando's?
Yeah, so from Nando's, generally I go for the burger, the butterfly burger, and then I get some peri peri chips. You can't skimp out on those. And then, I don't know, corn or something like that, maybe. I don't know. I always play around with the third side,
There you go.
But generally the burger.
Yeah, I usually go
big
for the
fan
burger.
of the burger, but no one really likes the burgers from Nando's for some reason. Everyone just likes the chicken.
Yeah. I like the burger, and I'm trying to remember, does Nando's have nachos? I feel like maybe I had nachos there.
Nah, I don't think they do.
All the restaurants run together, but Nando's is definitely a UK staple. Slow Slow as USD on Twitter. I'm gonna need his favorite food this morning, and his morning routine. His barber, his desk, his chair, and his bed. All right, what's your favorite food, man? I can tell you his barber changes depending on what country he's in.
Recently, I haven't had a haircut, as everyone's probably seen. So, favorite food, just in general, or
Yeah, what's your favorite food?
probably sushi, I guess. I can always eat sushi.
Oh, you're gonna
Like,
get
for
along
the
great
rest
with
of my life.
Rush and the boys, because Rush is over.
Yeah,
Like,
he's already
getting
told me.
sushi, like constantly. It's like every other photo on their Instagrams, are always sushi. So let's see. So Kenny ICKL on Twitter. How was the transition from Australia to North America at first? And with you now
sorry.
coming into the EU, what are you feeling and expecting to feel?
So Oz to NA wasn't actually that bad. I think it's pretty similar. Maybe like there's more teams and stuff, but well, at least at the beginning there was more teams. But in terms of like lifestyle and stuff, I think it's pretty similar, I guess. Australia's like a little bit more laid back and shit like that, but other than that, I think it's pretty similar. And for EU, I don't know, the lifestyle was a little bit different just because I think there's like a lot of different cultures over here.
Yeah.
But in terms of CS, like it's just way better, obviously. Like there's just way more teams and it's just much better practice in general than both those regions.
Jonas, the Wombat Show. Do you miss your old teammates after having played with them for such a long time? And did you decide about going to Europe before joining Complexity?
Yeah, so I did decide about going to Europe before joining Cole. That was like one of my main goals. I've played in NA for like quite a few years now, and I think it's way more beneficial just to be in EU and just to play all the best teams. And in terms of missing my teammates, yeah, I did, because once you stay with people for so long, you kind of just expect them to be around, like regardless of what's happening.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit weird when you go off on your own and
Right.
you have to do all these things and that you wouldn't normally do, at least. And then you're always looking for someone to talk to and stuff like that. So yeah, it has been a little bit weird, but I'm slowly getting used to it. And, yeah, it should just get better over time, I guess. But yeah, I do miss them, of course.
Yeah, and you guys can check out Justin's interview on HLTV. He answers that a little bit too. It's a really good interview. The next question is from Rush, the major winner. Who have you bonded with? Who have you bonded with the most on the team, and why is it me?
It has to be Will, because he lives with me basically. But that's not because I want to bond with him. I have to.
He's got to be so happy to have you there, man. He's been grinding a few weeks by himself there. Our manager came back, and you weren't there yet, so he's got to be happy you guys are there. So, yeah. Abdo Juma asks, do you have any messages for the Complexity fans?
Thanks for supporting me, I guess, if you are supporting me, and hopefully that we can bring some more titles to the team, because I think we have a really strong team. So yeah, that's about it, really.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to answer that too. There's been a lot of fans, because I've been doing this 17 years, so Complexity fans are some of the most tenured fans. I got people that are like, I remember back when I was in high school watching you play. Now I got a wife and kids and stuff, because I'm old as hell. And lately, just the outpouring of support, specifically since the whole Juggernaut thing, and then moving into the new roster, and then moving into 2020, has been unbelievable. And I want to tell you guys, sincerely, how much I appreciate it, because obviously this is my passion. Obviously, I love esports very, very much, or I wouldn't have left law for this. I wouldn't have taken the chances that I've taken for this. I wouldn't have sacrificed the family time that I've sacrificed for this. I could have fallen into a 9-to-5 job and done just fine for myself. So it's obviously passionate, but you have to remember, this is also my career. This is how I put food on my family's table. This is my full-time gig, obviously. And when the fans get behind us and the fans support us and they're tweeting at us and they're tagging on Reddit and supporting on HLTV or whatever it is, or for any of our other games, this is Counter-Strike specific right now, obviously, it helps me. And it helps all the people that work super, super hard in complexity, usually 7 days a week, because the sponsors see it, our owner investors see it, and fans, I think, sometimes don't understand how important they are to a brand. And all of this support and just retweets and likes on Insta or whatever it is, any little thing you can do doesn't cost any money. It helps me, it helps the players, it helps the staff, it helps the brand. So, you know, that's my message to the Complexity fan base, the Complexity Nation, is thank you very, very much. Like, you do matter. You matter way more than you know. You know, you put food on my family's table. I mean, it's a sincere gratitude, and it's a very deep appreciation for you guys. So thank you very much.
You answered that one better than me.
That's okay. That's all right. You know, we'll go back a little lighter here. Jungle CS, waffles or pancakes?
Pancakes. Easy.
Does Mr. Savage need a haircut by Hatrilex?
Yeah, pretty badly.
You're in the quarantine year, man.
Yeah,
You're just
I've
going
been a bit lazy with COVID and all that.
Full mountain,
but
man.
It is what it is. I can't get past the stage of like where it's like medium length, because it looks decent when it's long, but when it's like in the middle, it looks like shit, which is what it is right now.
Yeah. I got this from a lot of people, but this one is from M Possible. Is it just me, or do they look like father and son? Let me tell you something. Justin is a hell of a lot more handsome than me, so I'll take that all day long. All day long. Yes, absolutely. He looks like my son. My real son is also more handsome than me too, so that's good. I'm not sure of the background on this one, but Dorky GN says, "Hi JKS, do you ever think our 24/7 assault server sessions in 1.6 were what shaped you into the top tier player you are today?" So I'm assuming you know Dorky GN and the old assault servers?
He's an old mate from Odds.
He's
Yeah, I think
probably
they did.
sleeping.
I think they have to.
Right on.
They were super fun.
All right, Conroy FPS. Do you think this team is the most individually skilled team in the world? Also, how has it been sharing sites with Config on cat sides? Can we expect any opping from you, or will Config still be the secondary opper?
Well, I think everyone in our team is super skilled. Whether or not we're the best skilled players in the world, I'm not too sure, because I think everyone right now in CS is like basically on the same level almost in terms of individual skill, except maybe like Simple or something like that. But I think we're definitely up there, of course. And in terms of sharing the bomb sites, I haven't actually played any bomb sites with Config yet. I'm waiting for the next few maps that we're going to go over, but yeah, I can't remember the rest of the question. Was there something else in that?
No, I think you got it.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you guys have been grinding, but it's still only been a couple days. So.
Yeah, we've only played a few maps right now, but we played so many games though.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've got this question quite a bit. Shout out to our Australian friends. This specific one in front of me is from N07 X Benjamin P on Twitter. Will he get the other guys to do a shoey if we win a trophy? Very important. And I wrote back, if. When we win a trophy, are there going to be shoeys going around? Asking the hard questions.
I mean, I can get other people to do it. I can maybe convince them. They seem pretty rowdy. They might be down to do it.
You guys lift a trophy. I'm definitely doing a shoe.
Yeah, we gotta wait for that to happen first, and then we'll.
That's right.
Suss it out step by step.
That's right. Boeing's bias asked, "How do you know Complexity was the right fit for you, other than the timing?"
Well, in game at least, most of the roles that I have are pretty similar, and replacing Obo I don't think is that difficult, because a lot of the spots that he played, I played anyway. So in terms of in-game, I think it was like a pretty clear choice. And obviously in terms of like organization, it's a super good organization that like cares for the players a lot, and yeah, I mean, I think it was pretty easy for me to decide on just those points alone.
Excellent.
And of course, everyone in the team is super skilled, so I mean, that makes it a lot easier as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, this is probably too early to answer, but Wild Gimp says, has JKS already? I know these Twitter handles. Has JKS already increased his bench weight with Blame F? You and Rush were at the gym last night, right? Get
Yeah,
the
we were at the gym
pipes
last
going.
night, but
Let's go.
yeah, I don't know. I think Blame could probably just bench me instead, to be quite honest. Probably just be used as weights for him, to be fair. But nothing's increased just yet. We'll see over the next few weeks. We've got a plan going on.
Mackindaw37 asked, what can we expect from Complexity on Blast Premier Fall?
I don't know, to be quite honest. I don't really have any expectations for the first tournament, just because I'm still getting to know everyone on the team and getting adjusted to the team. So I don't really want to set any unrealistic expectations. But I mean, so far things are going well. So hopefully we can have a good result. And yeah, I mean, obviously I want to have a good result overall. But
Absolutely.
first tournament, of course, so you can't really judge everything off just by that.
So I'm going to take the next one. It's from Reactin. How much is JKS needed for this team? A lot.
Go on.
You know, most people that follow Counter-Strike know the difficult situation we have with Obo, our old fifth, where he battled it out in Europe for a long time, and you know he had to go home, and we support him and wish him the very best. But obviously that left us in a really disheartening, really frustrating spot. And I think a lot of times in life when quote unquote bad things happen to you, you can look at it different ways. At first, you have the natural human reaction where, you know, like, this sucks, like, what are we gonna do, and woe is me, or whatever. But if you want to be successful in life, and we talk about this on my show I do on Thursdays called The Rewired Gamer. It's on my YouTube. It's about the mental side of life and gaming. Little plug there. If you want to be successful, you need to be able to look at adversity and difficult times in your life and be like, how can I grow from this? How can we actually come out the other side of this tough patch and be better and be stronger? So we quickly shifted the conversation in my talks with the team. We're like, Owen's a sensational player. We're going to miss him. But can we be better on the back end? I said to the team, give me your top 3. I want 10 names, and I want like the top 3 of the ones I'm gonna go for. And in this marketplace with what players cost and how difficult it is sometimes to get people to leave their team and come, I knew it was going to be a serious uphill battle. But we knew that this fifth was going to determine the destiny and the future of the team. So to say it was important would be a massive understatement. It was arguably one of the most important player moves I've made in 17 years. And immediately, JKS's name was at the top of that list. And there was a time when I was researching the original Juggernaut lineup, and I wanted JKS, and I was very interested in several of the players. And of course, 100 Thieves bought the whole team, and they stuck together, so it wasn't on the table. So kind of thinking, quite frankly, this is probably a long shot, I reached out to Jacob, the general manager at 100 Thieves. I'm like, hey, you know, I want JKS. What's it going to take? And unbeknownst to me at the time, that 100 Thieves would eventually, I think it was a couple weeks afterwards, decide, you know, with the team that we're not going to go to Europe, and everyone knows what's happened. I didn't know that was happening. I'm just like, I want JKS. So at first it was like, no, you know, it's not going to happen. And that's what, you know, that's the reaction you usually get in these circumstances. But when he came back to me one day, he's like, hey, you know, there might be a possibility where this might work out. I mean, you know, I was just like a kid on Christmas morning. Getting Justin on the team, in my personal opinion, because of his experience and his incredible skill, I think it does make us better. Not immediately. Any good team is going to need months to gel. So I want to say right now, if we go out and lose a couple matches in the next few months, like, come on. To compete at the tier 1 level with the top 5 teams in the world, the teams need time to gel. They need time to work out the rotations and the comms in game and the timing and yada, yada, yada. If you're a Counter-Strike fan, you get it. But going into 2021, I'm very confident we're going to be better. And I think we have the potential to go on runs where we just bulldoze people. I really do. So how important was JKS to this team? I think he's extremely important. His teammates were, the word I used internally was giddy. They were so elated when I let them know, and I had to clarify. I'm like, hey, I can't promise anything. So I don't want to get your hopes really high and then this falls through, because nothing in this business is done until the ink is dry. But I'm like, I think we've got a hell of a good shot at bringing JKS on board. And then, of course, they're messaging me like 5 times a day. Any updates? Any updates? You talk to him? So, no, we're absolutely thrilled, ecstatic, elated.
I'm going to tell this to them tomorrow in Prac. It's going to be great.
The players are super happy and excited. I'm super happy and excited. Everyone in Complexity is super happy and excited. Shout out to Travis Goff and some of the people at my board level, because for the amount of money it took to secure Justin's contract, it was obviously an all-company effort. Our association with the Jones family and the Dallas Cowboys, they needed to support what we're doing. They needed to support the vision of what we're trying to accomplish. Like, when things go right, it's all Jason Lake, Jason Lake, Jason Lake. It's like, well, it takes a lot more than Jason Lake. It takes Soren, it takes Josh, our GM and our managers, it takes Kyle, it takes a whole bunch of people in our office to make these things happen and to make them happen smoothly, all the way up to the board level, with, quite frankly, people that need to write very large checks. So giant thank yous, and we could not be happier about this. I think once the team has had a few months to really gel and get the maps down and everything, we are going to be one of the most compelling teams in 2021. We're going to be one of the most competitive teams in 2021. And quite frankly, I think we're going to kick a hell of a lot of ass. So if you haven't put on the Complexity tag on Reddit yet, giddy up, chew, MFer. It's time to hop on this hype train, because I think this team is going places. Let's go. Next question. Glad you got an Aussie on your team. Best of luck. Thanks, Scott Benarski. What is your favorite knife and gloves combo? From Dave, RDO CSGO.
It's a hard one, but probably the butterfly knife. I use the default one just because, I don't know, I think all the default ones are pretty cool. And then I don't have to worry about which skin I have. And probably I can't remember what they're called, Crimson Kimono or something like that, the red gloves. The specialist ones, they look pretty sick. They're the ones I've had for like years now, so yeah, that's about it. I haven't changed skins in a while.
So I got 2 questions that are kind of similar. One from 23 Savage and one from Pine YTB. How is JKS fitting into the team system since Blame F is the lurker? Will he be adapting to Obo's role, or will he be playing the role he did at 100 Thieves? And the other question is, will JKS be filling similar roles to which he was playing in 100 Thieves? I think you talked about this a little bit in the HLTV interview, but talk about your roles and how you feel you're going to fit into the team.
Yeah, for the most part, I've got most of the same roles I've had in 100 Thieves. Some maps have changed, like on CT side. But other than that, most of it's pretty much the same. I think Blame had to do a little bit of reshuffling and change some of his roles, but I mean, they've been like pretty accommodating and letting me play all my roles and stuff like that. And I mean, ultimately it's up to them what how they want to play, and obviously they had success before, so I don't really want to come in here and take like everything they had before. So I'd be fine adapting and stuff to different roles, but this is the way it panned out, and I'm pretty comfortable, thankfully. So yeah, I mean, we're still kind of adjusting to everything, but so far so good, I'd say.
So Cassilus Fake asked, how does it feel playing with EU players? I mean, I would add again at the end, because you played with EU players before, yeah. But how does it feel like playing with EU players again and Prac and stuff?
I'd say the most different thing is probably the like the callouts on the maps, obviously, because different regions have different spot names.
Yeah.
So I've kind of had to get used to that. But I mean, other than that, I think it's more just I don't think necessarily it has to do with anything about E or NA or anyone like that. It's more just like playing with different players. Like for example on this team, the comms are like people are talking like a lot more than my old team, so that was something that was kind of surprising for me. And I mean, it's a good thing. So that was probably like one of the main things. And obviously these guys have like experience with like the different meta as well. And
Yeah.
A&E kind of have a different meta in the game, so I'd say those things are probably the most noticeable changes, at least in the last few days of practice.
Yeah. Makes sense. This one, okay, from Isaacson Chris. This one's for Jason. Did you consider other players before JKS, or was he always a top target even while building the Juggernaut? I referenced this earlier. But yeah, I'll be honest with you guys. The team was very clear with me that they felt they were on the precipice of greatness, and that losing Obo could result in a situation that was at the best case scenario problematic. At the worst case scenario, the team could just fall apart, because that's what happens. So there was a tremendous amount of pressure on me and our managers and our organization to step up and deliver a player for the other four guys that not only they were excited about, but they felt they could be number one in the world with. Rops was on that list. Cold Zero was on that list. Stavin was on that list. We had a list of 10. These guys were near the top. And I investigated all those names, but JKS was number one. Not only did they have a tremendous amount of respect for Justin and his gameplay, they felt, as Justin did, that he would fit into the roles, the team, perfectly. Like a hand into a glove. It wouldn't be like, oh, now we got to redo all our maps and redo how we do everything. They're like, we've got this sensational player with all this experience and is known for just having a great attitude, and they're like, this is the guy that will take us to number one. So, I said a lot of prayers and it worked out. So I think you can tell from the smile on my face, everyone here is super, super happy to have Justin on board across the entire organization. Anton Vive, will JKS stream in the future?
Maybe if I get some downtime from CS outside of having a break. I don't know. Our schedule right now is like pretty hectic. Like we're playing 10 hours a day and stuff, so I kind of need my own free time on the side. But
100%. Ben and the boys like to work. When Justin and I were talking, he's like, "Look, man, I just want a team that's going to work their asses off. We're going to lift trophies." And I'm like, "Well, you've come to the right place, because these guys work hard."
We'll see what happens after our first few tournaments. We need to do anything extra or anything like that.
Okay, Lucas Odd. Hi, how do you feel it's like playing against the Brazilian teams? And we, the Brazilians, really enjoy watching you play. Good luck at Cole and Brazil. And big heart to my Brazilian friends that are super, super supportive of complexity. It means the world to us. So how is it like to play against, the awesome Brazilian teams?
Yeah, I think it kind of depends on which team you play against, because you play against like MIBR, for example, they're like super slow and methodical, and then when you play against Furia, it's like the opposite. It's just chaos everywhere and everything's like super aggressive and shit. But both the teams have like everyone's in those teams like super nice and stuff, so it's always like really chill playing them. And yeah, I mean the only thing I can really comment on is the play style in game, right? So
Right.
But they're both like polar opposites almost.
That's true. It's going to be really fun to watch Furia play in Europe against some of these different teams, and EG and TL when they get there. It's going to be pretty cool. So we're back to the hair salon. What stops you from bringing him to the hair salon right now? Pretty sure that is a lockdown hairstyle. Thanks for that, 1401.
Sure it is.
Then we got over here. Who's your barber? Let's see. I don't know. There's a bunch of hair questions in here. What is it with you guys in hair? Maybe that's why you wore a damn beanie today. You
Yeah.
snarky bastards. I tell you why. Let's see. No questions, just yes. Let's go. Thanks, Joseph Horn. All right. So what I want to do is rotate over to the Discord, you guys. If the mods could post a link in, I'm gonna pop up the Discord here myself, and we're gonna field some questions from the Discord. And hello, Discord. I'm in the CSGO channel. Somebody said I was supposed to be in the AMA channel. I don't know. I guess we'll just go in the CSGO channel. Hi, Artie. Hi, stream. Okay. Try to avoid CSGO, they're saying. All right, well, where the hell is the AMA questions? All right. Well, I'm going to move to the AMA section. Can the Jason Lake give you a mullet, JKS? Oh, my gosh.
I'll consider it. We'll see. It's coming
It
back
is
in
Halloween,
style.
you know.
It's coming back in style too, so we might be able to do something.
Skirmish X asked, have you seen the Last Dance video? It was on Netflix.
Yeah, I have. I watched it when it came out. It was really good.
Yeah, it was.
Loved it.
I thought it was really great. Okay, yeah, let's get some serious questions, guys, or we're gonna run out of questions, and that'll be a wrap. How do you approach potential role clashes with Blame F? I think we talked about that a little bit. Follow up on Brazil. How do you think Furia will fare against top EU teams based on their performance of late?
I think they'll do pretty good. I don't think anyone in Europe would really be used to how they play, as far as I'm aware anyway. I've noticed like some teams in practice have started playing kind of similar to how they play on certain maps, so it's pretty interesting. But I think they'll do good when they get here. I don't know how long they'll do good for because other teams might start to counter and stuff, but I think overall I think some teams will be in for a bit of a shock, and it should surprise some teams.
Yeah, I think so too. I think they're a
And I
really
know
fun team to watch, and it's going to be interesting to see the meta clash, you know?
A lot of teams are going to get frustrated playing them, just like
Yeah.
how we were.
Yeah, I think so too. Okay, Dense but Radiant Muffin, how you doing, man? Are NA callouts, you referenced this earlier, are NA callouts a lot different than Aussie callouts? Any specific one you're going to miss?
I mean, they're more just like bland names, whereas like in Australia we kind of have like weird names for spots. Like I'll just use like for example Diggity on Inferno, but most of the time we just call that lane now, so it's kind of like converted over. But I think mostly it's pretty similar. But for maps like for example Vertigo, it was a new map, so we just came up with all our own callouts.
Right.
So I'd say it's mostly similar except for like specific spots every now and then on certain maps.
King Monster, obviously your new teammates and potential around the team itself was probably the determining factor in signing with Complexity. But how much of a role did the infrastructure of Complexity play in making the decision? Staff, facility, amenities, etc.
Well, I mean, other than having like a good team, you obviously want a really good org to support you. And I mean, I've only heard good things from Complexity and their players, so I mean, that one was a pretty easy decision as well. Because I mean, obviously you want the best team and stuff like that, but you also want an org which is going to support you and you actually have like some sort of future with, and something which is like kind of solid and structured. And Complexity fits that perfectly, so that was like one of the main decisions.
Awesome, thank you. Okay, they're clarifying that the Last Dance they were referring to is actually 100 Thieves YouTube video.
Oh,
Last
the
Dance.
meme.
Yeah, I thought they meant the Michael Jordan one.
I saw the photo. I didn't see the video though. I didn't know there was a video.
Yeah. There's a video they posted in the AMA on our.
We'll have to watch it later.
Yeah, you have to check it out. What does the K and JKS mean? We know JS stands for Justin Savage. What's the K?
Well, it might be a little hard to figure out, but the K is actually my middle name. So it is my initials.
Are you going to share your middle name?
Uh,
Are you
middle name
going
is
to
Kyle.
decline?
It's the middle name is Kyle, but everyone for some reason thinks it's Keith or Kevin. I don't
Ah,
know why.
Kyle.
No one ever guesses
Really?
Kyle.
Dude, is that like one of the coolest names in history? Justin Kyle Savage. Like your parents hooked you up, dude. They hooked
Yeah.
you up.
Thanks, Mom. Thanks, Dad.
Misaka Makoto, how many hours do you have? I'm assuming how many hours in Counter Strike?
I think last time I checked, it was around 12k. Oh, it's actually 12.9k. So nearly 13k. So I spent a lot of time on CSGO.
Yeah, it's a little bit of time, I'd say.
Yeah. Well, it is what it is.
And this was asked a little differently, but Dean Gilberry wants to know what are the expectations and goals for Blast Premier? Like, what's your goal for the team in Blast
I mean,
Premier?
obviously, I want to win the tournament. I think that's the #1 goal. But
Hell yeah.
expectations, like I said before, I don't really want to set like unrealistic expectations when I just joined the team because then I don't want to get disappointed over it. I think it's it's pretty reasonable to think that we're going to do good, but I think that we're kind of in like the stage where we're just kind of adjusting to everything and we just want to improve after each match. But obviously the goal is to win the tournament. That would be really nice.
Andrew, does JKS think EU is a lot better than NA or not much of a difference on like skill levels and where the teams are at and everything?
Yeah, I'd say it's like a really big difference because, I mean, obviously the best teams in the world play in EU, right? And there's only like a handful of teams in NA which can properly compete with the EU teams. So
Yeah.
it's much like more beneficial to play in EU and practice in EU when you have so many good teams that you can choose from. And obviously, if they're all practicing each other, they're just going to get better and better and better because there's just a bigger player pool to play against. Sorry.
Artax, what team do you think you will have the hardest time playing and why?
I actually don't know, to be honest. Maybe I guess I just have to say like Astralis or something like that. I haven't really thought about that actually, to be quite honest. I think just because it's like a fresh team for me, I don't think I really have that kind of perspective yet. I'm pretty confident to play against everyone right now.
Dean Barry again, coming off the unfortunate circumstances surrounding 100 Thieves, what does this opportunity with complexity mean to you as a player?
Sorry, repeat that one.
Coming off the unfortunate circumstances surrounding 100 Thieves, what does this opportunity with complexity mean to you as a player?
Well, on like a more personal level, now that I've kind of stepped away from the Aussie roster, it's kind of like, I guess, my like own time to take on some new challenges and improve on my myself without people that I've spent the last 5 to 6 years with. So it's kind of like a growing stage for me, I guess you could say. And obviously, I'm the only Australian player in this roster, so it's nice to kind of have the scene behind me, I guess you could say, at least for now. So probably that, yeah.
Vency on PC asks, how many practices have you had with complexity already?
Let me think. It's 3 days, probably about 15, 16 games already, I think. 17 games in practice. I only got here 3 days ago, so
Still pretty new, yeah.
I got a lot of maps on there still there.
Neuralinked, what in your mindset is different to others that sets you apart? Or just any mindset tips to consistently achieve?
For myself, I don't really know exactly what would be different. Maybe just the fact that I'm confident in like my routine that I have outside the game, my routine that I have inside the game, which makes me perform to my best of my ability. I'd say that's probably something that maybe sets me apart from other players who don't have that. I'm pretty like specific with what I like to do outside the game and inside the game before a match, and I think that's what makes me play better. And I don't know. I'm just confident in game. I have confidence in what I do and confidence in what my teammates can do. So probably that.
Nate asks, if Complexity win a trophy next month, will you dye your hair blue?
Maybe not blue, but you could try like blonde or something like that. Maybe.
There you go.
Don't know about blue. That's a little bit too Twitch for me. Twitch.tv.
Ale or Ale asks, who is the best Brazilian CSGO player in your opinion? Big fan here, always rooting for Complexity.
Yeah, that's a hard one. There's a lot of good Brazilian players, but maybe right now, maybe Yuri or Art, I'd say. Because I know Art has like a lot of impact when he plays. He gets a lot of info for his team, and when you play against him, like he's always doing something crazy, but it's always like somehow benefiting his team. So he's figured out a way to do that, and obviously it's working for them. So, and obviously with Yuri, he's just a really solid aimer, and yeah, probably one of those two players, at least in my opinion right now.
Jay Dens, are you a Dallas Cowboys fan, or do you follow American football at all?
Honestly, I don't actually follow American football that much, but obviously I have to go for the Cowboys now, so I'll probably be tuning into more of their games.
Steamy asks, did 100 Thieves practice as much as you are practicing in Complexity right now?
Yeah, we played like when there was actual, like when we had boot camps and stuff like that. We played pretty similar amount of hours, maybe like 1 or 2 less. But right now I'm adjusting into the team, and we have to learn all the strats and all the spot names and stuff like that on each map. So it's definitely gonna be more hours. But I'd say overall, probably just like a little bit less than what we're playing right now. But towards the end of it, when there wasn't like really many teams to practice in NA, we weren't actually playing that much.
Yeah. Is there something you miss in particular about being in Australia, CS related or not?
Probably not CS related, but I mean, obviously I miss my family and friends, and miss the food, the good weather, all that stuff. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of things in Australia that I miss, but it's kind of just part of the job that I have to live away from home. So other than that, in CS, probably just playing with my friends, playing pugs and stuff. That was pretty fun back in the day.
Cynicism, Jason, who will be replacing Warden's role, since it seems like big shoes to fill? Definitely big shoes to fill. We've got some lead candidates, and we're in the process of doing interviews to make sure we get the best possible manager fit for the team. And right now, our assistant general manager, Josh, is with the guys who are in London. So hopefully soon, but we also don't want to rush into a manager because it's too important. Is Burger King better than Hungry Jack's?
Definitely not. Definitely not. Hungry Jack's is like the Australian equivalent, but it's just way better.
How do you think NA teams will do against EU once they make the transition? Like the North American teams that are moving over to Europe right now to play the European teams.
Honestly, I don't think it would take that much time to transition, to be quite honest. Honestly, there isn't that big of a difference with the top teams in NA. I think most of the top teams in NA are really individually skilled, so it'll only take them like a couple of practices to get used to everything in the EU. But I mean teams like EG and stuff, I think they'll do really good just because they have a lineup of 5 really skilled players.
Arian asks, and you answered this a little bit in your HLTV interview, did you get any other offers from other teams?
Yeah, I did get a few offers from other teams, some NA teams, some EU teams. And yeah, I mean, that's about it, to be honest. I think I picked the best option, the most solid option. And yeah, it's obviously always really nice to know that other teams and players want to pick you up and stuff, and they're willing to discuss options and all that. It's really quite humbling, I guess.
The question, I'll take this. Where is he living right now, in a hotel or actual gaming facility? They're in, I guess it's technically a hotel, but each unit like has a kitchen and stuff in London, and we're evaluating other living opportunities. I guess when Justin arrived to our place, he's like, holy, this place is small. So I gotta get Justin a bigger room. Everything in London, when you're used to like American hotels, you're used to American apartments, you get to London, it's like everything I think is kind of smaller.
Yeah, definitely.
But,
Everything's bigger in America.
yeah, so we're reviewing different options as we try to sort out what country's going to be best for the guys to kind of settle down in and all that. But right now they've got good internet, and he's got Will and Josh with him, so hopefully they're going to be good for the time being. JKS, you said you wanted to move to Europe in the HLTV interview, but except now and online, Complexity is a North American-based team. Was Complexity's caliber being their non-permanent enough to convince you going over with the team being their permanent? I think he's saying, like, yes, we're in Europe right now, but we are a North American-based team, and how did that play into your decision? I guess I can answer part of that.
Yep.
Justin and I had that conversation about where I thought we were going to be in the future, and I said, in the world that we live in, it's impossible to make promises about these types of situations, but the way Counter-Strike is going and where the leagues are and the best teams are, I foresee the team being in Europe, for the foreseeable future. Yeah, I don't know if you want to comment on that.
Oh, no, pretty much exactly the same thing you said, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
I don't really have that much of a say on it, but
Yeah.
I think EU practices is much better. That's my say on it.
For sure. And we want the best practice. We want to play the best teams because we want to beat the best teams. Chippy108, has Complexity gotten any offers for Oboe yet? I can't go into specifics on that, but I will say I've been a bit surprised and disheartened by the amount of interest. I think he's an incredible player. I think he's one of the next great up-and-coming American players. There's a lot of teams, given it was pre-COVID. At the end of last year with the launch of Flashpoint and all this, there was all this hype and how they're going to get the best players and spend all this money. It's like, well, I'm sitting here, I'm waiting. Where are you? So for now, we're taking care of Owen and very open to finding him a great new home. This one, YOLO Menterer. JKS, what inspired you to play CSGO? And when did you realize that you had the capabilities to go pro?
Well, I was already playing CS before CSGO, so I mean, nothing really inspired me to actually play CSGO. It's more like in 1.6 when I used to play as a kid, and I used to play LANs with my brother and all his friends and stuff like that. Kind of just really enjoyed the game and was watching frag movies and stuff all the time, and watching people who were really good back in the day kind of inspired me to play the game and get better. And I guess in terms of CSGO, it was kind of like weird when 1.6 died and CSGO came out in Australia. I didn't really know what to do, what to play.
Yeah.
But I just started playing CSGO. I thought, why not get really good at this game? Might be the next best thing. And yeah, I just kept playing. And then eventually it just got bigger and bigger.
Who on the team are you playing sites with most of the time on CT side?
I think each map is kind of different, to be honest. I'm playing with mostly everyone on the CT side, except maybe Will, because he plays the other bomb sites. So I kind of have a pretty good mix of who I'm playing with right now. Get to kind of have time to experience and play with everyone on the team. It's pretty good. I wouldn't say anyone in particular.
Masaka asks, what is your warm-up routine?
Well, mostly I just DM for maybe 20-30 minutes until I'm feeling pretty good. And before that, obviously, I like to wake up pretty early. At least this is before a match. I like to wake up pretty early, go for something like a run or something like that just to wake me up, and I feel like it makes me more energized. Get some good food in, and that's about it, really. That's at least for my own personal routine. And then obviously there's team talks and stuff like that before the match. Nothing too fancy.
Taffy wants to know, what was the toughest change initially when moving overseas for the first time? And do you think you'll find this move equally as tough?
It's been so long since I actually moved overseas.
Yeah, you've been around. You've been on the road for a while.
It's kind of weird to think about, to be honest. But it was probably just adjusting away from home, from my family and friends and stuff like that. Obviously, when you move away, you really miss them and stuff like that. But after a while, you kind of get used to it, and you kind of find ways to make do. So probably that, and yeah, just living away from home, I'd say, is probably the weirdest change.
To both of us, do you think it's possible to reach the top? I'm assuming number one later this year.
Yes.
I'll answer that first. I mean, I definitely think it's possible,
Just yes, I'll
but
say yes.
yeah, but I don't want to put unrealistic expectations either. You have to understand how this game functions and how it takes time to really mold together as a team and to deal with the 2v2s, the 3v3s. There's such an infinite combination of different things, and only by playing a lot together can you really start to get in that groove. Is it possible? Absolutely, but I'm most certainly not going to be angry if we're not number one, come New Year's. Good question. There's some of the similar questions that are in here that have already been answered, so I'm kind of trying to find new ones. Reese, who you got winning in a cage fight, Blame F or Rush?
Blame F if you can catch him, and then we rush if you can, do some little maneuvers around him and stuff like that. He's a lot smaller than Blame F, I think. So.
I got this mental image of Blame F, Jason Rush around in a cage match.
That'd be a good one. We should set it up. Content.
Oh my gosh, that is too funny. All right, let me see. I think I've got here. Let me scroll back down to the bottom. Again, we're on Discord. Obviously, you can check out the Complexity Discord and hang out. We're in the AMA channel. I think you answered this. It's about the warm-up routine you talked about with Stunna. Let's see. What is your monitor settings for Benq? You know off the top of your head, or
black equalizer is like 1, color variance is 12, brightness is 50, contrast is 40, gamma is 5, sharpness is 5. That's about it. Off the top of my head, I'm pretty sure that's it.
And another question about any other setting, or no, that's Nvidia settings.
I'm not gonna go through that. That's way too hard.
I've had several questions about Nvidia settings. Yeah, maybe you could post them.
If it's default, whatever the default is, that's what I use.
Yeah. NRB, how are you getting along with everyone on the team so far?
Yeah, it's been really good. I'm adjusting really well. Everyone's super chill, pretty funny, kind of have similar humor, so it's been pretty easy actually for me. Like, I haven't had any troubles at all. It's been really good.
Yeah, I told Justin when we were talking, like, I know, like, I'm in sales pitch mode or whatever, and you have to take some of what I say with a grain of salt, but I genuinely believe you would get along really well with these guys. And
yeah, so far it's been really good.
Yeah, I think it's going to be fantastic. Artax, do you ever pug or play FPL? And if you don't, do you plan to play FPL in Europe?
Yeah, in some time I'll probably play FPL in Europe, but recently not really, because I kind of just have my own routine where I can deathmatch and stuff, and then I just play with the team most of the time. It kind of depends on like how I'm feeling in the game. Like if I'm feeling like I'm hitting shots and I'm making the right decisions, I don't really need to put extra time in it because I want to balance my time. I want to have some free time outside of the game because I think that's really important as well. But if I'm like playing the major or something like that in 2 weeks, then I'm definitely probably going to play more FPL, for example. It kind of just depends on the schedule.
Right. Martin asks, what are your favorite bands that aren't Tame Impala?
I got a lot. I don't know.
I don't know what Tame Impala is, so I'm having
they're
a
an Australian
moment.
band.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I like mostly probably like Tool and Gajira and stuff like that. I listen to like a lot of like progressive metal and rock, I'd say.
Somebody else, who are you most excited to play with on the squad?
Who am I most excited to play with on the squad?
Yeah.
It's not one single person, but I heard like really good things about Blame's work ethic, and that's something that I think is really like needed for an IGL, for example, of a team. It's like one of the things that you need to have a productive team, and obviously having that in an IGL is probably like the most important player in the team because he has to call the shots and do all that stuff. It was probably him, but obviously everyone on the team's like really good. Rush has won a major, Config is super talented, and Poison's really up and coming, and he's a really good AWPer. So I think there's a single person exactly. I think they all have like really good traits.
Eduardo wants to know what will be the biggest challenge in adapting to the EU. So I mean, maybe lifestyle and adapting to playing the EU teams.
What's the biggest change? Is that what he's asking?
The biggest challenge.
Oh, challenge.
Yeah.
Probably just getting settled into EU. I don't think there's like much difference playing the teams at all. For me, at least, I think it's pretty much the same, other than like the skill level, which I think I'm I'm on par with anyway, so it hasn't really been that much of a challenge. But kind of just like coming here, setting up, and adjusting to the time zones and stuff like that, and of course settling into like a new team full of EU players mostly, except for Rush. The work ethic is a little bit different. The scheduling is like a slightly different. So probably just those things.
I have an AZR fan here. Where do you think he will go? What team do you think he will go? Or do you think he'll go to Valorant? Sorry for not being a JKS question. He's just a big fan.
That's okay. I think Aaron should be able to get a lot of teams. He's a really good IGL. He's IGL'd us to a top 8 finish and a top 4 finish at a major. So I think a lot of teams should be wanting to pick him up. And I think a lot of teams need a good IGL these days. So I'm not sure what offices he exactly has. But I think he should have quite a few, to be honest. He's a really skilled player and he's a really good IGL. He's pretty smart at the game.
Swarlos, who's our editor for our Through the Smoke series, says, you've been in EU for a few days. Have you found any good spots to eat? I've had a lot of Nando's questions too, but we already answered that. So.
Mostly just been ordering delivery because we've had like no time to go anywhere in the day because we're just practicing.
Yeah.
But there's actually a lot of good cafes around this area, so it's going to be good when I want to go get a coffee or something like that. That's probably one of the main ones.
Right on. All right, we're just going to do a few more because I promised him I wasn't going to keep him much more than an hour.
No worries.
He needs some sleep. Jeff wants to know how successful has the practice been going? Our practices.
Yeah, they've been going really good. I think that it's more just about adjusting as like a team and getting the chemistry going and stuff like that. But on that level, it's been going really well. We're getting along super well and we're kind of figuring out things at a really good pace. So I'd say it's been going pretty successful. I don't really want to talk too much about prac results because it's just practice and stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Trihex Hard. Beside any current or past teammates, which pros do you like the most and get along with the best, beside your previous teammates?
I'd say I get along with pretty much everyone, but in particular, probably the French players, Kenny S, Apex. They're all like super nice whenever you see them, and we have a little chat every now and then. And, I don't know. Most of the players, like you see them pretty much at every single tournament, right? So everyone's like pretty well known with each other. Everyone says hi to each other, has a little chat and stuff.
Yeah, that's the circuit. I love it. I miss the circuit, man. I miss seeing everybody hanging out.
Team Liquid as well. Probably Team Liquid. We're really not really close with, but obviously we played them heaps in NA and stuff, and we've played with some of the players. Well, I've played with some of the players before. So. Yeah.
My buddy Eggsy Power from India, he wants to know who would win an arm wrestling match between you and Rush.
Probably me. Easy.
Fat Master wants to know, how are you so good at clutches? Is it your mentality?
I don't know. I get this one a lot actually. It's mostly because I think I'm just calm and collected in those situations. I don't think there's like I think I kind of have like a pretty good understanding of like what the other player is gonna do. And when I was younger playing the game, it was like kind of something that I always worked on because I always thought it was like really cool when you're like 1v2, 1v3 people and stuff like that. So when I wasn't actually like a pro player, it's kind of something that I really enjoyed doing, and I always watched other people clutching and stuff like that. So I guess I just have a pretty good understanding of it.
Yeah.
From all the way back then.
Okay, Joe wants you to help him with chemistry homework, and Artax wants you to be his friend. Let's see here. I'm going to get one more question. Do you remember IEM Gamescom 2015, where it was a fun style event where you had a French-Australian alliance with Envy? That was one of my favorite events that I watched, and it was 16 Renegades as underdogs placed third at that event for Martin.
Yeah, that event was kind of bullshit because we didn't actually. I think we only beat SK, and we placed third. I'm pretty sure, but there was a bunch of other really good teams there, and somehow we just outplaced them. So that event was actually pretty fun in terms of like what actually happened, and yeah, it was more just like what it felt like at least was like a muck around event at the time. Yeah. So yeah, it was pretty fun.
Excellent. All right, well, we're going to move to the final. I guess, my question for you, and we talked about this privately, but we'll do it on the show, is like, if you look back a year from now, what do you think you will say, hey, this was the number one thing I brought to this team? Like, we've been together a year. We've ridden the roller coaster. Hopefully, we lifted the trophies. And this is what I brought to my teammates, to the organization, to the Complexity fans. Like, this was my shining contribution.
That's an interesting. Other than winning some tournaments.
Absolutely.
I don't know. I think I'm a pretty good team player, I guess you could say. Like, in terms of like my experience in the CS scene for like the last 6 years, I think I have a pretty good understanding of like how to comp properly, how to play as a good teammate, and I think I bring a lot of firepower to the team. So I think all those things should probably help us in the events, and I think the number one thing is obviously bringing some tournaments home. I think that's my goal at least.
Absolutely, man. 100% on the same page. Well, like I said earlier, we are incredibly grateful to have Justin on the team. Everyone in our organization, top to bottom, is genuinely really, really excited about the coming months. And, with the world that we live in right now, we can expect challenges, we can expect difficulty, we can expect adversity. Nobody thinks this is going to be a cakewalk, but we most certainly are bullish as hell about this roster and about what it's capable of accomplishing. If they work together as a team, if they set their egos aside, if they keep the right mentality, I think we built you all one hell of a team. And we're very thankful. Huge shout out to Justin for believing in the dream that we've been trying to build, for being such a consummate professional through this entire process, and for hopping on an AMA his goofy ass boss asked him to do while he's jet lagged out of his mind. So huge thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. And make sure you follow him. His Twitter is @COL_JKS. It's there on your screen. Please, everybody, drop him a follow. Hit us up on the Discord. I'm going to get this VOD over to our staff. If you missed any of it, we're going to put it on our relatively new Complexity CSGO YouTube channel. So make sure you go to that CSGO channel and subscribe to that and check out our series Through the Smoke and all the great content that we're going to have coming your way. Until then, thank you very much, Justin. Thank you very much to everyone.
All right, it's my pleasure.
For asking questions. You go get some rest or arm wrestle rush or have sushi or whatever the hell you guys want to do. Peace out. Thanks, Justin.
Thanks,
Take care,
nice.
everybody. Peace.